Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Cloud Deep Dive. This will be a series of videos where I will be talking about encryption and specifically about AWS KMS service. AWS KMS features in most of your AWS certification exams, and I will be covering this particular service in detail and will be giving you some exam tips which will be handy and which help you to answer the questions which you encounter in your certification exam. So let's start with the basics of encryption. If we talk about encryption, what is an encryption? Encryption is basically converting your plain text into a ciphertext. You will have a data key, you have some encryption algorithm which you will use, which will convert your plain text into some scrambled numbers, which is known as a ciphertext, and your data is encrypted. So if someone has your encrypted data here, they get hold of that encrypted data, they won't be able to read the data because it's encrypted by using a key, and the key is with you. It's something similar to you have a home and you have a key. Once you lock it, nobody can enter the home until unless you provide the key to them. So they won't have access to your home. Now, how to decrypt this key data? So once you have ciphertext, that's the process like decrypting or kind of converting the ciphertext into the plain text is known as a decryption. And to decrypt the data, you again need the key by using which you encrypted the data, and use the decryption algorithm, and then you will decrypt your data. So that process, encrypted data converting it into a plain text, is known as the decryption. So where your data need to be encrypted? First is data at rest storage encryption. So what does that mean? That when you upload a file or your data to the S3 bucket or any server, it can be RDS or any SQL server, wherever, the data, when it's residing in that particular server or in S3 bucket, at the time the data should be encrypted. And that's because if somebody get hold of that server, they will be able to read the data. But if you encrypt the data, they won't be able to read the data. So when the data is residing in your server or in S3 bucket, the data should be encrypted. Second is data in motion. Sometimes we also say data in flight. So when the data is going from your computer to the server, it's might be going via the internet or by some other mechanism. So at that time, when data is in motion going from your computer to the server, that time the data should be encrypted, and we call it data in motion. And that type of encryption is known as a network encryption. And for that, we use normally HTTPS or TLS connection, which secure your and create a tunnel kind of thing. And whatever data is going through that particular channel is encrypted by HTTPS or TLS. Third is application level encryption. That is that all the data flowing through your application should be encrypted. Now, with that, there are two different concepts comes into the picture. There is client side encryption, another is a server side encryption. And what does this mean? That client side encryption means that you will be encrypting the data and then will you be sending it to other person or to the server. And the server side encryption means that you will just send the data and the server will encrypt and store it for you. So if I'll show you in pictorial form, client side encryption, you can see you here is your client, you are the client, you are having a plain text, you will convert it into encrypted data and then you will send it, and this encrypted file will be stored in your AWS storage, can be a EBS, RDS or S3, anything. And the server side encryption is you will send the plain text. Now when you're sending the plain text, you need to make sure that when it's going via the channel, it should be encrypted. So that's why we are using the HTTPS or TLS connection here to make sure that when the data is in motion or in flight, should be encrypted. So here the data is encrypted by HTTPS TLS, and termination TLS or HTTPS termination, SSL termination will happen at the server level, and then the data will be again encrypted by the AWS storage. So you didn't encrypt at your end, the data was encrypted by the storage or by the server, by any of these service, and then it's stored by the by this service in an encrypted form. So when you need the data back, this storage or this server will decrypt the data and will send it back to you. Similarly, on the client side encryption, what will happen if you need the data back? The encrypted file will be sent back to you, and you will be responsible to decrypt the data. So when you need to decrypt the data, you will need the key which you use to encrypt the data. So you have to manage everything for this one. But in case of server side encryption, because server is encrypting your data, so when sending back it need to decrypt, so server will manage all the keys and everything, and it makes sure that before sending it will have the key, it will decrypt it and send it back to you. So in this video, I just wanted to cover very basics of encryption. In the next video, we'll talk about KMS. Thank you so much guys for watching, and please do subscribe to my channel. Press on the bell icon so that you'll get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. Bye.